The biggest lesson that I learned having to pay $10,000 to move 2 miles, well, was it worth it? The name of the company is about a year ago, maybe a little less. We found out that we had a bunch of issues with our previous place that we were living, and it just got to the point where we needed to leave, and that means that we were going to break the lease, and it was going to cost us a lot of money to break the lease. But the crime and just all of the issues that we were having, it just got to the point where it was just worth paying the extra to get out of that. But like I said, that didn't come without a massive cost. I just realized I'm wearing the same shirt from yesterday, and has a stain right there. Okay. Now, before I get any further, let me explain. The $10,000 was like an accumulation of everything. Like, there was a $5,000 fee that we had to pay to get out of our lease. The movers were about $2,500, and then they did $2,500 in damage, at least, to our items. The whole move wasn't $10,000. I just had to clarify that before we go any further, because yeah, still ridiculous. But like I said, the situation at the house that we were in, it got so unbearable that we just had to get out at any cost. And we looked in our contract, and we realized we were going to have to break the lease because we had just signed a brand new lease, and we were about 2 months into that lease. And it was going to be about $5,000 to get out of our lease. And on top of that, to make matters worse, this is the time where we're this is probably our busiest time of year for wedding videos and photos. For those of you that don't know, with wedding videos and photos, it's typically people like to get married at a specific time of year, and that's when this was. And we were just completely swamped, so we didn't really have time to move an entire house across town. We took a couple of weeks, and we did pack everything ourselves. We did put everything in boxes and all that stuff, but the actual physical moving of things, we didn't have the time. So naturally, we started looking at moving companies. What you would normally do when you're looking for a company is you go to Yelp, and there's not a ton of good moving companies that are reliable in Nashville, but there was one, and that one is the one that we actually ended up going with, which was it was a terrible mistake. So one of the things that they really, really, really screwed up was this bike. I had bought this bike 2 months before we had moved, and before that there weren't any scratches or anything, and now, see that right there along that line? That was not there before. Yeah, there's just a lot. That's just one thing, amounting to the $2,500. Moving is probably one of the most stressful things that I can think that you can possibly ever do. And I think the reason that it is so stressful is because you're dealing with your stuff. You're dealing with things that have value to you both sentimentally and monetarily. And because of that, you want to take care of them as much as you can, but naturally when you're moving thousands of pieces of whatever, accidents are going to happen. Whenever you're going with a moving company, that's typically the biggest thing on your mind is you want to make sure that your stuff's going to be taken care of. And that's why we went ahead and went with this company, even though they were a little more expensive. They seem to have a good track record, according to the internet, and Yelp and all those. And leading up to it, they were they were very on top of it. They called to check us. They asked us how the packing was going. They were very involved with the process up until the move. I actually came into the storage unit for something, but I honestly can't remember. I can't remember what I was gonna get. Shoot. Well, I guess it wasn't that important. When we originally moved into this apartment complex, the one instruction that the office gave us was not to lose the key for that storage unit because they don't have an extra, and there's no way to make an extra. Meaning that if I lock the key in there, then there's going to be an issue. And so every time I leave the storage unit, I check to make sure I have the key in my hand, my pocket, or wherever, at least 5 to 6 times. And even then, it's stressful. Now, when moving day came, originally it was supposed to be a two-day delivery. We really tried to get them to do same-day delivery, but their reasoning for it was that the other crew had another job to go to after ours. Come to find out during the move, when the movers were actually moving us out, they didn't have a second job. They said they were going home after they finished ours, which only took like 4 hours. So that night we just ended up spending like we ended up getting like air mattresses and just sleeping in our bedroom in air mattresses in our new apartment. And the following day they were supposed to come and deliver our stuff. The next day comes and the truck is late. It's supposed to be there at 8 a.m. and it's late. And then I get a call, and it was the moving company notifying us that there was something wrong with the truck and it will still be delivered that day like originally planned, but it's just going to be a little bit later. Couple more hours goes by, and I get another call saying that the delivery is going to be pushed for the following day. And me trying to be reasonable and whatever, stuff happens. I said, okay, that's kind of annoying, but we can spend another night on an air mattress, and we had like a lawn chair in here, I think, as like our couch. And then the next day came, and that's when I really started getting pissed, if I'm being completely honest. And I think I'm justified in being angry. So I'm getting irritated because it's been like, it's going to be 3 days and we haven't got our stuff, and they could have realistically done it in the same day and we wouldn't be having to like deal with truck issues or anything. So I start asking like questions like, can you get like a rental truck or a U-Haul truck? They said they couldn't do that, and there was nothing that they could do. Obviously, was kind of irritated, so I decided to ask for like some kind of money back or something. And they said that they couldn't do that either. They could offer me like $100 stipend if I like signed a bunch of stuff agreeing that would be the only payment that I would ever get, and the job wasn't even finished. And then the contact that I had like going into it, who was super, super helpful and who initially sold us on the company because of how nice he was, I left him a bunch of voicemails. He just completely ghosted me. Keep in mind, all of this being in the middle of the summer in Nashville, meaning that it was like 90 something degrees, and all of our electronics, our bed, everything was just sitting in a truck that was just in a parking lot somewhere in the middle of Nashville cooking. And going into the third day, I honestly didn't know if the truck was going to be fixed. They told me that they would know early in the morning the third day if they're going to be able to make the delivery. It was going to be a fourth day if they couldn't get this truck fixed. So the third day comes, and at like 8 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call saying that they were actually able to fix whatever part was broken in their truck, and they would be delivering our stuff that day, which was kind of annoying, adding to the annoyance because we had work and we had to cancel that because they didn't give me an option. They said it was going to be delivered on the third day, and that was it. They came and they started to unload, but the way that they unloaded the truck was different than the way that they loaded the truck initially, like 3 days before. All of the care and the time that they spent when they were packing the stuff was like the complete opposite. It got to the point where I had to like follow them around to make sure that they wouldn't drop boxes or drop material when they like unloaded it from the truck or unloaded it in our apartment or in the storage unit. And again, at this time, I'm still trying to be like patient. I'm still trying to be nice. I ended up giving a TV that we didn't need to one of the people after we gave them really generous tips. And then we started unpacking, and that's where I started to regret giving them tips, the TV, giving them anything, if not. The only thing that I really wish that I would have given them was more grief. I started unpacking things, and I started noticing nicks and scratches and dings and rips. They actually ripped a hole in the bottom of our Sleep Number bed that we had just got like 2 months beforehand. And then like there were just a bunch of random nicks and holes like this right here on this table. That wasn't done by us. And then our couch actually smelled like cat pee. And I'm pretty sure it was because of the trailer it sat in for a couple of days. We were able to get that out by like using a bunch of cleaning products. After all that, we ended up getting like everything in our apartment, and the big takeaway for us is just honestly hindsight. For us just to move 3 miles down the road, we should have just kind of sucked it up and just moved ourselves, because one, we wouldn't have had to pay a moving company, our stuff wouldn't have been broken, and we would have been able to really control when the stuff was delivered. We talked about if we like move to another state or something else. Honestly, we may just pack up a U-Haul and just do it ourselves. That way we can really control like every aspect of it. If we ever end up hiring another moving company for whatever reason, we're certainly not going to hire the one that we did. The name of the company is Coleman Allied, by the way.